and in today's video we're going to be doing a complete breakdown and guide to the full power battle mode against Jiren and of course Toppo. This will be an overview on the basic things you need to know and you should be doing to clear these events. These events are not meant for brand new players. These are tough events. Apart from the normal mode, I don't believe many, if not most people, can beat the hard mode. And then obviously Scream is meant for the veteran players who have a lot of the units at high stars, who have the very specific units and the Zenkais along with them to boost up these units so that they can actually clear this event. It is not for the faint of heart, and don't feel disheartened if you cannot clear a certain difficulty. It is meant to be probably the hardest content in the game from a PvE standpoint, so obviously do take it with a grain of salt if you can or if you can't beat a certain level. Up until I believe a recent point, I couldn't defeat the Scream difficulty without getting the Ultra Goku because I did not have a specific unit or units on the team at high enough stars to actually complete this event, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and start breaking down the aspects of the mode, and that's going to be the first thing we're going to come across, and that is going to be set comrades. As you can see, we have 4 slots right here, and these are going to be your units that you pick that you're going to lend out to your friends, to your guild mates, and whoever is able to access these characters via the friend menu or via the guild when they are available. Obviously you do want to pick characters that are corresponding to the current full power battle and how they correspond to the teams that they're supposed to be buffing, such as if we look at the first let's look at the first party formation here, and that's going to be the Son family party formation in slot number 1. In this slot you can only use Son family members, and that includes for buffing the characters. So let's say you have Super Saiyan Blue Goku here, the Kaioken. You can only use Son family members. You cannot use Universe Survival Saga characters such as Jiren or Toppo, Dispo. Any of those characters cannot be used in this specific team setup because it is restricted to Son family. Similar to that, in the comrade section you do want to pick these types of characters that fit in these selections. These are the characters I am lending out to my friends and guildmates. I went with the Kid Goku because he does provide a Zenkai buff to another person if they are using a Legends Road character. I went with EX Beerus because obviously he is buffing the yellow category, which you do want to use in terms of when you want to use the specific EX units. For Universe Survival Saga, I do have the Android 17, the MVP 17, purely because he gives a double stat buff as opposed to maybe running Kaioken Goku there, who does also provide a double stat buff, but I prefer to have this guy buffing up the Son family instead of the Universe Survival Saga, because many if not most people who are running Kaioken Goku will pick my Kaioken Goku to buff their own, which is just a much larger Z ability buff as opposed to maybe running a Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku that has a Zenkai, which is double defenses. I much rather, from a personal standpoint, have my Kaioken there instead. But in this slot you can have any units. I just went with all yellow units because it just made sense for me. But if you do have a higher ability, Z ability buff, go ahead and use those characters, whoever you feel like. But do make sure that they correspond to at least 1 or 2 of the categories that are apparent in the battle, such as Universe Survival Saga, Extreme EX, obviously we have event exclusive, and then Son family. Any of those tags or characters in those tags would fit really well when it comes to Zenkai buffing. But let's break down the bonus units. As you can see, the bonus units up here are going to be the Ultra Goku LF UI, we got the Kalen Caulifla, Android 17 EX Toppo, Beerus, and then the 2 free-to-play event units, the Goku and then the Legends Road Goku as well. These units do get increased buffs and increased damage against the raid, so you do want to primarily be using these guys. I wouldn't recommend using any units outside of this, except maybe the Evolution Blue Vegeta if you do have him, because he does have quite a high sustainability in this mode because of what his kit entails and what he does. So maybe just that exception to this is where you would want to use that character. But let's go down to party formation. The party formation is practically the same as what you would run in extreme co-op or during the raid. You have the number of battle members here, which is going to be 10, who are supporting your main battle character. And then you have your comrade here, which is going to be the character that you pick from your friends, from your friends list, who is going to buff up your specific character or tag. As you can see, I have a 5-star Ultra Kaioken Goku. If you want to change it, all you have to do is just click on the character and it'll bring up your friends list. These are my guildmates, and as you can see, a lot of them, if not most of them, have their characters set up. So let's say if I want to swap out the Kaioken Goku for the Goku and Vegeta, I will be getting their Z ability buff as opposed to the Kaioken Goku like this. But as you can see, I much rather have the double defenses as opposed to double attack in the later modes, because Jiren does do a lot more damage and I don't have my character at high stars. So it just depends on what you want to use when it comes across your character. If you want more defense, obviously go with the more defensive ability buff, or if you want more damage, HP, depends on what you want, but you cannot go wrong with an extra Z ability buff. Just make sure that the character is actually buffing your guys, because you can get the occasion where you can get like Kid Goku, the Legends Road one that we have in our final slot over here, and you can set him as a comrade, but he's not really providing any decent Z ability buff to your character. So just be aware of that and make sure to choose the right characters. When we come up here, we do have the obviously the equipment. If I go to my equipment right here, you can see I have a multitude of equipments. It doesn't really matter what equipment you choose, it's your build. You go with what you think you need more damage on, or if you need more defenses, go with what you like. For me, I am running the double platinum equips because it gives a nice rounded stat buff to blast and strike. And then I went ahead with this equip here, the awakened Goku equip, which gives health restoration, special move, and then blast damage, because this Goku is a blast based character. So that's how you work with the equips. Pretty synonymous or pretty straightforward, similar to co-op. But if we move on to the next character in the party formation screen, we're going to look at my Universe Survival Saga pick, which is going to be Android 17. And like the rest of the characters in this tag, it is only Universe Survival Saga, so you do want to pick characters that have that boosted ability for increased damage, and then you do want to pick all the characters that actually buff this character. Same with the EX Yellows. EX Yellow should be pretty straightforward because most people should have Zenkai Beerus at least done to the point where he's a Zenkai 7. I specifically don't have him Zenkai boosted all these panels because I just don't like the EX Zenkais that much, or at least I didn't like Beerus enough to get him done. But he should still provide a decent enough overall damage buff coming from his increased stats and the fact that he is Zenkai boosted, and a lot of the EX units here are providing a high Z ability buff. And then we have our own comrade here giving us a Zenkai 7 Beerus buff in inclusion to his own. So if we look at it here, there's our increased damage from our friend Beerus. So do run maybe Beerus, or if you want to run Vegeta, that is the two best options that you could run because of the Zenkai ability. And then for the final one, we're going to go with the Event Goku Legends Road Zenkai. A lot of people are using the Red Goku because he does have a 450% increased damage buff against Jiren. I specifically am using this Kid Goku because I find that his endurance comes in more handy, because when you run through the event, your burst sometimes does not, or your moves don't burst the shield. And then having this Goku having that little bit of extra HP post his endurance can be very helpful in case you need to do a little bit of extra damage to kill the boss, and it has saved me a multitude of times. That is why I'm going to be running with this guy. Apart from that, if we look at the Z ability buffs from the Legends Road, he is getting a quadruple Zenkai buff from his own Z ability, Piccolo, and then the two hybrid Saiyans being Trunks and then Gotenks. So that's why I decided to use this guy as opposed to maybe the Goku, because on the event category or event exclusive, you don't really have access other than this Kakarot Goku to Zenkai buffs these characters. So I went with the high Zenkai buff specifically for this guy as opposed to the increased damage for the event. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to speak about typings. In terms of typings, I believe I will throw it up right now. There it is right here, the battle styles. Melee characters have 10%, add 10% to all allies inflicted damage upon all-out rush. Ranged is the all-out rush version, but the tap blast version. Defense, all characters receive 10% less defense during enemies ultra break, and then support characters give increased card draw speed and then key recovery. I went with mostly just pure damage with the range types and then melee types. I don't believe the defense types is going to be really helpful, at least at the high difficulties in this mode, because of how much damage that these guys are going to do. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into the Jiren raid. I will be doing maybe one run through because I have completed it already and it was quite frustrating without the Goku. But apart from Goku, if you do have the Kale and Caulifla assist, or I should say Caulifla and Kale assist, it should be pretty easy to get through this event, specifically because they do have a 200% increase in the ability right there. Let's turn off our auto mode. Let's do some damage. Okay, I'm not going to use my rush right now. I'm going to save it during the ultra break period because it is going to be a difficult to remove this guy's shield if you do not have at least one of the special cards, being the all-out rushes, or if you do not have this rising rush available to you. So you do want to try and take advantage of that and try to preserve these special cards and animations for when you actually need them. And this Jiren should be going into his first phase right now. Soon enough, he should break soon. Let's just get him to break. I believe that's 85 million H. Oh, there it is. Okay, he's at the first phase. In this stage, you should not attack the boss under any circumstances. You'll only be wasting ki and your card draw speed because he is invulnerable and you cannot attack him. When your allies use their main abilities, you want to just go ahead and just throw everything at it, and then you go ahead and maybe use your Rising Rush, or you go ahead and use one of those special cards like I have right now. I'm going to use the special card first, then I'm going to use the Rising Rush because it does disappear like how a normal Rising Rush hand would disappear. You lose all your cards and then you do lose any special all-out rush cards that were in your 4 slots there. So we're gonna this is not gonna break. If we do, okay, there's another blue one, another all-out rush, so we can preserve our shield and we can preserve the ability to break after Rising Rush. Perfect. Gonna hit him with this blue card, we're gonna go with the green, and then we're gonna Rising Rush. Just keep in mind that try and preserve your rush for as long as possible, because in the second phase he does do a lot more damage with his all-out break, and he takes a lot less damage as the raid goes on or this fight goes on. If we see it later on, the all-out rush that we used, the strike version, took about 70% of his HP, which would not have happened because it is normally the first break. Okay, he's in his second phase now. Okay, I'm gonna get hit by that. Let's go ahead and go forward. Okay, now this is where everything comes down. Hopefully we can draw another set of all-out rushes, but if we can't, look at that. Even with all of this increased damage from all these units, we still don't even have enough to barely dent this guy, so we are going to get hit quite hard here. I believe Beerus is going to die from this if he does get hit. Let's see here. Okay, I'm not going to attack, I'm just going to build up my cards. Okay, yeah, Beerus is dead. Let's hit the main ability. Heal up. Okay, who's going to cover change? Goku. This is why I brought this Goku. He does have the endurance, so he should be okay. Okay. He should live this, but if he doesn't, we will go ahead and try to ult. Maybe try to build up another all-out rush. Okay, it looks like Goku is dead. Okay, let's go. I'm going to try and get that strike all-out rush first, because it does do quite a bit of damage, actually. It should be enough to kill this Jiren. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Can we kill him? Wow, that actually did a lot less than I thought it would. Let's see. Don't go into another one. Come on, come on, come on. We should be able to kill him here. Yeah, okay, we should. There we go. We actually managed to kill him. We actually got lucky. He did not go into his third phase, which is honestly, if you're not quick enough and he gets to the third phase, you're practically dead. You might as well just restart the run, because it's practically impossible at that point to defeat him, because you're not going to do enough damage unless you have either 2 of the special arts cards, the all-out rushes, or if you do not have the Z ability and the Z rush, where you go into another dimension, you will not be able to break that shield. Even with the second phase, it's practically impossible to break the shield without a all-out rush and at least a rising rush, the all-out rising rush. So these are the units I'm using, but obviously the best units you can use are here. You can see the Z abilities. If you got UI at maybe 7 stars and above, he does have some good increased damage, 300%, but be careful with him specifically, because his defense is quite low. When it comes to this mode, especially the Scream difficulty, if you do not have at least this bottom passive here with the Goku, the anti-ultra burst inflicted damage up by 50%, it's going to be very difficult to break that shield in general. That is why when we did our strike all-out rush, we actually managed to bring it down to 70%, and we were actually able to preserve our Z rising rush, which is pretty good. But if we look at Toppo, Toppo does not have the same boost units or the same characters in the same tiers as we saw with the Jiren. For this, you have the Evolution Blue Vegeta, who has that 50% damage up, and then you have Goku here doing 200% damage, Android 18 with 300%, Ribrianne, and then we have the Ultra Omega Shenron, and then we have the free-to-play Vegeta. This is my setup that I used to clear this mode. I did opt to go with the Ultra Kaioken Goku in my Universe Survival Saga slot, because it made more sense to keep Vegeta as the character that I use. Keep in mind, if you do not have Vegeta, it is going to be a lot more difficult, and if you do not have Kaioken Goku, the Ultra version, you might want to run this with Android 18, or maybe the Vegeta, and then have Ultra Omega Shenron in your free-to-play slot with that Zenkai buff coming from all those characters, or if you have any other characters that are buffing him in the event exclusive tag, have those guys there. But this is going to be the breakdown for this event. It's extremely difficult apart from the normal mode. Going from hard mode to Scream is going to be a very difficult jump and is not meant for the younger players, so do keep that in mind. It's not meant for you guys. I'm quite excited about this mode. There are obviously quite a few tweaks that need to be made, such as the rewards that you get from this mode. Obviously, locking the Vegeta 1000 Z power behind the Scream difficulty is quite a poor choice. I believe that just attempting the mode and maybe should be able to get that Z power without worrying too much, which is what they should work on. That encompassing the fact that these boost units here are not going to be very good. How does GT Vegeta relate to this event, and why is he only getting 100% damage increase? But my main complaint about this mode, and what all players should be feeling right now, is that the anti-ultra burst inflicted damage up by 50%. This passive should be, or this boost should be distributed to other characters as well, because having only one character that does this means that you're kind of locked out of the harder difficulty if you do not have the specific character, which shouldn't be the case. Even in a lesser amount, let's say Android 18 for example, if they gave her maybe 25% or 10% or 15% of that anti-ultra burst damage up, it would have been a lot easier to clear this mode. But for a first rendition of the mode, it is quite fun, it is quite interesting. It does push the players to think more about, strategically about how they want to play and what units they want to use. I personally enjoy this mode, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops over time and not how it is right now. Because if we look at other modes that Legends has released in the past that has grown and has become a staple part of the game, look at Zenkai Spacetime Rush. This mode was quite difficult when it came out originally. It had over 30 stages and it was extremely difficult to play. They went ahead and revamped it so that it's only 3 stages and a lot more easy. Even now, they even revamped it further so that you do not have to clear all the missions specifically each time. Even if you do fail, you do get the rewards, which is quite interesting. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown on what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing in the mode, especially from the Scream difficulty, and later who knows if we're gonna get a new difficulty called Ultimate or something. But for now, this is going to be the hardest content in the game. The bosses have way too much HP and we do way too little damage. But if you use these units and you follow the guide that I just gave you on how this mode works and what happens in this mode and what you should be doing in terms of building your party, this is going to be the best way for you to clear these modes. My advice for Jiren is if you do not have the Ultra Kaioken Goku, either main, as in use these characters, either use Kalen Caulifla because they are going to be type advantage over Jiren, or use Goku because he does have a extra 100% damage inflicted over Kalen Caulifla. If you do not have these units at high enough star level, my advice to you is just try it eventually. Maybe you'll get lucky, the boss will be dumbed down, because there have been instances where the bosses does not break at a certain HP point after you've lost a certain amount of times. So do go ahead and try your luck in these events. I will say that the Jiren event is the hardest event in the game. The Topo one wasn't that difficult because of Evolution Blue Vegeta, who is an LF, and he is quite widely available from the Ultra banner, and that he was featured in the previous banners as well. So even if you have a single copy of him, it is still going to be practically the same in terms of how you want to run that team. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you'll manage to clear the Scream difficulty of Jiren. Do you like this mode? Do you hate this mode? Would you want to see this mode as a guild exclusive thing only? Or would you continually want this to be a per person, per player basis, such as it is right now? And what rewards would you want to see from this event? But anyways guys, my name is Hydrax. Catch you in the next one.